I freehand painted a Christmas tree on some barn board that I had. So I took a whole bunch of scraps of barn board and some nails and some glue and had hubby cut them down for me in random sizes. I'm just making sure they're going to fit on the piece I have on the back, deciding which way I want them to look, and stacking them up so that I can now put them back in order. So now you need lots of glue. I'm marking the first piece and making sure it's nice and straight because, like any other project, the foundation piece makes a huge difference in the finished project. So glue and then nail. Nails are just to tack it there until the glue takes hold. So lots of glue, not so many nails. So I'm making sure it's super straight with the square. And once that first piece is in, we just carry on. So as I said, lots of glue, tack the nails, and I'm just going to carry on to the bottom of this. You just decide which way you want your pieces to go. I'm going to be painting over them anyway. Oh, see that one bent? So carry on. This is old wood my husband and I had found, and he planed it down for me and cut it so I could get this really barn board effect. But I am going to be painting over it, so you don't need to have barn board, just whatever you can get your hands on. I love remaking things. Now see the big knot in that one? I love that. My husband doesn't understand, but I think it's the most gorgeous piece of wood. We're coming to the last piece now. Oh, one more to go. And this is just going to be a porch leaner, so it's going to sit in my porch and lean up against the wall in the next few weeks, I think. And there we go. So you can see it's not perfectly even, it's random, because I want to paint it and put a Christmas tree on it. So it's sort of similar shape to a tree. Now I'm using some vintage white paint here, and I'm just taking an old chip brush. I love these for putting on a lot of paint fast. And I'm not trying for full coverage because I want that wood to show through. It's important to me that it looks old. So you use your favorite brands. This is a Swiss Coffee, I think is the name of the color, in a bear paint. And it's a flat finish paint because I like my farmhouse projects to have a flat finish rather than a shiny finish. So we just touch it up wherever you think it needs it. I went a little heavier in the middle because that's where the main part of the tree is going to go. Now I need some black, some brown, and a green or two, and maybe some white. And I like to mix my colors, so I don't need a million colors. I'm going to start with the trunk and just freehand in a line sort of straight down the middle. And this is where the trunk of the tree is going to be. And then you just thicken it up. I'm building from the bottom up, so I need the black to be there so I can have it showing on the edges of the painting when it's done. So the black is my first color choice, then I'll go over it with the brown, then I'll go over it with shading. There we go. So that's the basic start of the tree. With a basic flat brush, nice and pointed. Next up I'm taking a little angle brush, but you could use a flat as well, a smaller one. And I'm going to put in some brown. Oh, actually, sorry, no, I'm filling in the black. I want it darker because I need those edges to stand out later on. So I want it to be nice and dark. So second coat of black, if you like. This is really a judgment call on your part. Now I'm going to start filling in with a little bit of white to kind of give it some light on that side, just lightly. Mixing colors, brown and black, and now I'm going to take the angle brush and start putting in some branches where the Christmas tree needles are going to grow. So I'm keeping them fairly far apart. I don't want a super full tree. I want it to look kind of sparse and just thin looking. So keep them fairly far apart. And then this is a judgment call again. You do you and I'll do me, and this is how I wanted it to look. The fun of playing with paint is you can change it as much as you like. Now into the greens. So I use 1 or 2 colors of green. I don't remember the brand name or the color. I just used a Christmas green, and then I mixed in a little black to darken it up a bit. And now I'm just taking my angle brush and starting to put needles in on the tree all over the place. And that's what I'll be doing for the next few minutes. So you can skip forward if you like, or you can watch. I'm going to start with the one color, and then I will be adding a darker green and maybe a lighter green. So no more talking until I get all the needles in. So I'm pretty happy with that. Now I'm going to make a bit of a darker green. So I'm taking some black and some brown and mixing it into the green, and then I'm going to add a second layer of needles. Not all on top, but in between, on top, and here and there. A little more sporadically. You don't need them everywhere. This is just to start adding some depth and color to your depth of color to your painting. So you don't need to put them everywhere, but just randomly here and there. And this makes a big difference in looking like there's several shades of green going on, which there are. And that gives the effect, the illusion of light and dark on the branches. So the light shining through and shadows, the dark, indicating shadows, and the lighter ones looking like they've been hit by the sunlight. Then I'm going to add some in the middle in a few spots, right on the trunk of the tree. It's, again, now I'm going to lighten up the colors and add some lighter green. Not too light though, not white, but a much lighter green. And I'm going to do the same thing as I did with the black. I'm just going to throw in a few needles here and there in the lighter colors. A little more on the trunk especially, so it can pop the needles out against the trunk. And all of this is done with a small angle brush, but you can use a flat as well. As long as you're using the chisel edge of it, you're going to get the nice little needle shapes. So now I want to add a little more dark because I think I may have gone too light in spots. You could be at this all day. Now I'm adding a few more branches without any needles on them, just to fill it in a little bit. You decide as you're going along if it needs a bit more here and there. Nothing ever is finished the way it starts out when it comes to painting. Then I'm going to add some different needles on these. And now I'm adding in some light on the wood to make it look like the sun is hitting it from that side. So just some light brown or some white, and just blending it with my finger so it doesn't have any hard edges on it. And I'm pretty happy with that, so I'm calling it good. And there we have the finished tree. Now you can see where the light and the dark needles and the light and the dark, the black and the brown and the white all had different effects on how it looks on the tree. I hope you enjoyed the video.